Australian beef producers have had the most amazing 2016. The US domestic market provides an indication of what to expect for the year to come. Hi, I'm Ben Thomas from MLA. Let's get straight to the point. What's ahead for Australian cattle prices? Well, there's reason to think we're following a path already trodden by the US domestic market. For 5 years to 2012, US feeder steers averaged a smidge under 300 Aussie cents a kilo live weight, while Australia's Eastern States indicator acted like its shadow. When US prices did break through, they more than doubled over 25 months. What we've seen now is Aussie prices following the same path, only about 2 years later. And here's where it gets intriguing. When American prices did come down, it was at about the same rate as they rose, but bottomed out well above the old long-term average. Our forecast is for a similar price fall here, though not just yet, not as fast and not as big. Here's some of the reasons we've reached that view. First, females as a percentage of slaughter has edged below 47%. That's always a sign we're busy retaining cattle, not selling them off. Would have been even lower if not for some dairy herd liquidation. Here's further evidence. Restockers are prepared to pay a whole lot more for similar yielding steers compared to feedlotters and processors. The gap at its widest with the most recent data. And so we do forecast the national herd to increase this year and taking 4 years to get back to near 2011 numbers. Over time, of course, a bigger herd will give us more production, but on our analysis, we won't see slaughter numbers rise until the latter half of the year. So 2017 in total is forecast down another 200,000. So it's hard to see any serious softening in price before then. Total beef and veal production is set to follow a similar shaped line but steeper once the production increase takes effect. One reason is that feedlots have an incentive to feed cattle for a longer time, resulting in heavier grain-fed carcasses. Compared to January 2014, feedlotters are paying almost 2.5 times as much for the cattle they start with, but what they get per kilo when they're finished has only risen about 50%. Their grain costs are lower though, so once you've bought them, they're cheaper to feed for very good per kilo returns. And while the number of cattle on feed has declined across 2016, the record grain harvest will keep the daily cost of the feedlotting game down for a while, and we're forecasting feedlots to turn off a total of 2.5 million head. There's heaps more in the full projections report. I haven't even talked about exports, for instance, but you can download the full report on the MLA website or view our comprehensive statistics database. Here's to a great 2017. See you next time.